Hello, welcome again. Today we are describing about the theories that affects photosynthesis. On this section, we will discuss about three main components, of which the first one will be about the photosynthetic theory. You have the potassium ion theory, then you have the starch sugar interconversion theory based on the change in pH. When you speak about the photosynthetic theory, this majorly you will be dealing with how the plant, when exposed to light energy, it will be manufacturing its own food and leading to the formation of glucose. And because of this one will be having an effect on maintenance of the osmotic properties within the gut cell. Then when you go to the potassium ion theory, this is now where we describe about the ionic imbalance, that is the ion between the potassium uptake to the gut cell, which will go and increase the osmotic pressure. Then during the night, and having an interference with ATP buildup of energy, that is during the day. At night, because of this one, the potassium ions will be lost, hence lowering the osmotic pressure. Then on the sugar interconversion theory, we speak about the gases, that is the carbon 4 to be precise, and of which this carbon 4 oxide, the more the accumulation, the more the accumulation of the carbon 4 oxide, the more increase in the acidity. So this one will happen always when there is no presence of light, because carbon 4 oxide is a raw material in the photosynthesis process. So let's discuss one by one, of which we'll start with the first theory, that is photosynthetic theory. During the day, what happens? The chlorophyll in the chloroplast of the gut cell absorb light energy for light energy for the photolysis. Photosynthesis will take place at that point, leading to the synthesis, or you can speak about the formation of glucose. When glucose is formed, you know that glucose is always osmotically active. It will exert high osmotic pressure in the gut cell, of which when it exerts high osmotic pressure in the gut cell, it will draw water from the adjacent epidermal cells by the process of osmosis. And because of this one, it will make the gut cell to be turgid, and because of the turgidity, it will lead to the expansion of the gut cells, leading to the opening of the stomata. That happens during the day. During the night, it will be opposite. What will happen during the night? During the night, the process of photosynthesis stops because there is no light energy, and glucose is converted to starch. Starch, it's osmotically inactive, and because of being osmotically inactive, the water which had been absorbed during the day will be lost to the adjacent epidermal cells through the process of osmosis, and this makes the inner and the outer walls of the gut cells to relax and become flaccid, and closing of the stomata. Let's check about our second one, which was about potassium ion theory. During the day, the light energy is used to synthesize, that is to manufacture the ATP energy, that is the adenosine triphosphate energy. And when this one is formed, the hydrolysis, that's the ATP, will drive the active pumping of the potassium ions into the gut cell. So there is active pumping of the potassium ions to the gut cell. When it's a gut cell, that's now from the adjacent epidermal cells. Once in this gut cell, the accumulation of that potassium ions in the gut cell will increase the osmotic pressure, which again in the same way it will draw water from the adjacent epidermal cells by the process of osmosis. And the inner wall of the gut cell will become thicker than the thinner outer wall. This expansion due to the diachetin now will cause the stomata to open. That is during the day. We are saying here concept is about ATP energy. And this ATP energy will be created because of the light energy being synthesized. As you know, when we discussed on the light stage of photosynthesis, we say the light energy is converted to chemical energy and being stored in form of ATP. So ATP is a storage form, which causes that active pumping of the sodium ions. Accumulation of the sodium ions causes what? Increase in the osmotic pressure and drawing that water. Let's check it during the night. During the night, at the onset of darkness, there is no synthesis of adenosine because we don't have light. Then what happens? The ATP concentration in the gut cell now will fall because there is no energy being stored. This stops potassium ion pump to the gut cell, and osmotic pressure of the gut cell will do what? Will fall. Water from the gut cell which were taken during the day will be lost to the adjacent epidermal cells by the process of osmosis. And because of this one, the gut cell becomes what? Flaccid, the walls relax, and stomata closes. Oh, you now understand what we're speaking about. Then the last one is always a bit of complicated one, and this complication is about the starch-sugar interconversion theory. Students do misunderstood about this one. This one you have to speak about during the day, the presence of the lights. Carbon dioxide will be used, which is the raw material in photosynthesis process. Because of the utilization of that carbon 4, the effect will be it raises the pH of the gut cell. Or you can speak about, we are speaking about increasing the pH in the gut cell. Or you speak about lower of what? We have this thing, either the rise of the pH, then which converts now the starch, the glucose to starch, conversion of what? Glucose to starch. Then because of this now starch being converted to, sorry, I'm getting some misinterpretation. We are speaking about conversion of starch into what? Sugars, right? Sugars, because they are soluble, they will increase the osmotic properties, drawing water to the gut cell from the adjacent epidermal cells, making the gut cell to be turgid, and the stomach opens. The cells now becomes flaccid. Then it does what? It opens. During the night, you know there is no photosynthesis taking place. And because there is no photosynthesis taking place, what happens? There is respiration taking place. The respiration taking place, there will be no use of carbon 4, but there will be release of what? Carbon dioxide. And because of the release of this carbon dioxide, it will accumulate, which will lower the pH, or you speak about increasing the acidity. Under this condition, the enzyme phosphorylase is inhibited, and sugars made during the day will be converted to what? Starch. Are you getting that? Starch being osmotically inactive, the osmotic properties of the gut cell will be lowered, and the gut cell loses water to the adjacent epidermal cells. By which process? By osmosis, and making that gut cell becoming flaccid because the inner walls and the outer walls of the gut cell relaxes, and our stomata will do what? Will close. Thank you very much.